What's up everyone, how you doing? It's yours truly, Fitz City, and you might notice that the channel is growing and we have some new subscribers, and that's thanks to these guys. I will have the link to these YouTube channels in the description down below. First with FLW Videos, I actually met and spoke with him at GoFest. We've been talking kind of a little bit on Twitter, we share ideas, and I want you to watch this video as well about Mewtwo new movesets in Pokemon Go, analysis of Ice Beam, FLW and Thunderbolt. Now this is going to be his own speculation, kind of like his own thoughts and ideas about the whole thing, and that's what we're going to cover in today's video as well because I wrote the article. I mean, very well-known YouTubers, got 35,000 subscribers, so FLW Videos, link in the description, please check them out, and I really do recommend you subscribe. Next person is PokeAK. PokeAK, you might know who he is, 106,000 subscribers, very prominent, and he does his own take on what we're about to discuss today as well, and it's a very good analysis take on things, so I suspect you guys to check out that video and please subscribe as well. Now, without further ado, let's go on to the article that I did write because I am a writer for the Go Hub. So, Mewtwo got Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Ice Beam, and it got me thinking while I was at work. I was like, wait, Mewtwo has a 300 attack stat, and it has Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt. Can that dethrone Articuno as the best ice attacker? Well, actually, it's Jinx, excuse me. As total damage overall ice attacker, can that dethrone Raikou or maybe even Zapdos? Can it dethrone Entei or Moltres? Well, I did some scenarios here. We got Mewtwo against Jinx with a Rayquaza raid, Mewtwo against Moltres and Entei with a Registeel raid. Because that's mostly common what you would use against Registeel's fire type, so that's why I did that specific scenario. And Mewtwo against Raikou and Zapdos during a Kyogre raid. So, here's the Rayquaza test. Mewtwo's the clear winner here. I mean, look, I took the overall damage of Super Effective and Stab, which Super Effective gives you a 40% damage increase for the quick move. The quick move used was Frost Breath, because that's the best quick move, and the charge move was Avalanche. So I did all the calculations and found out that the overall total damage output for Jinx is 35,680. Now Mewtwo, we use Psycho Cut, I did, because it has the most energy per second. Energy per second, which means you're gonna gain that energy for your Ice Beam a lot quicker, therefore meaning you will be able to fire off that Ice Beam a lot faster. So, it's always gonna be 1800 for Mewtwo with Psycho Cut, but super effective damage with Ice Beam and that 300 attack stat comes to 37,000. Look, Ice Beam alone on Mewtwo does more damage than both Frost Breath and Avalanche total. So, comes in as a clear winner that Mewtwo is the best ice attacker in the game right now. Now, Mamoswine has been thrown around like crazy. And really, it's situational. Will Mewtwo still be an extremely good ice attacker? The answer will always be yes. Will it be the best? In certain situations, not every single one. It looks like Mamoswine will beat out Mewtwo, but not by much. Only simply because it can learn Powder Snow, which has a high EPS, and it's especially against Dragon types. Like if we get Rayquaza back and we have Gen 4, and you're going for that shiny Rayquaza, Ice does 4 times the damage basically, and Powder Snow or even Ice Shard deal way more damage than that Psycho Cut, meaning that the overall power damage output is going to be higher overall because of that 4 times super effective damage. But Mewtwo is still going to be doing that 4 times super effective damage with its Ice Beam as well, but not with a quick move. So, lesson be learned. I know people are throwing it out there. Is Mamoswine better than Mewtwo? Yes and no. Oh my goodness. Go Plus going off in the videos. Yes and no. Because people are afraid to power up Ice Beam Mewtwo. Don't be afraid. Do it. It's worth it. If you have a really good Ice Beam Mewtwo, max it out. You're not going to be disappointed. Because as I see it right now, and this is purely good advice, if you want an ice team, I would go with like 3 Ice Beam Mewtwo's right off the bat to get that DPS out there, get it going. And then maybe have 2 or 3 Mamoswines to tank after that if you're doing a really challenging raid. So Ice Beam Mewtwo, Ice Attacking Mewtwo, definitely worth the investment. I hope that clears up any confusion for future Pokemon to come. Now, Reggie Steel Test, it's, you guys probably would have guessed. I mean, Moltres and Entei, especially Moltres, look at Moltres. A total of almost 70,000 damage output. And Entei, 65,000, which isn't too bad, given that Entei's attack stat's 235 and Moltres is 251. Mewtwo, it just can't do it. it can't do it. Now, it is surprising that just with Psycho Cut, that Mewtwo comes kind of close to Entei. There's one thing to get note of. So, my thoughts on Mewtwo is, if you want a full fire team that's going to take down the raid boss when you're doing super effective damage with your fire moves, is to go ahead, have your Moltres, have your Enteis, and then maybe stack a Mewtwo in the 5th slot or the final slot, your 6th slot, in a raid with Flamethrower. That would be the best advice that I can give you. Now, Kyogre raids. Mewtwo wins over Zapdos this round, but falls behind Raikou, and I'm going to give you some things to think about too as well. So, Raikou is a beast, 36,632, Zapdos 34,408, and Mewtwo 35,400. So Mewtwo has a better total damage output than Zapdos. But if you actually run some of the numbers and the cycle DPSs, Zapdos does do more damage on a Kyogre than Mewtwo does, even though the overall total damage output for Mewtwo is higher. And this is simply because it's a very complex system, and you guys are probably already starting to realize that. It's a very complex system. You know, you gotta take dodging into effect, weather, there's a lot of things going around, and it seems like Zapdos edges out Mewtwo overall in DPS going up against a Kyogre, but Mewtwo's power total damage output overall is higher than Zapdos. So it has something to do with the super effective damages. It has to do with Psycho Cut being different than Thundershock. And I think what happens is, to clarify things, I think what happens is Zapdos is able to deal more. The damage difference between that Thundershock and that Psycho Cut gradually builds up and gets bigger. Zapdos gets away with it with more damage using those Thundershocks and then using Thunderbolt. Then Mewtwo can catch up using that total damage with the Thunderbolt. Because if you look, the numbers are close, guys. The numbers are close. They really are. You look at super effective and stab for Zapdos, and you look at super effective for Mewtwo, 33,600 versus 32,384. The numbers are close. So the reason why Zapdos edges out Mewtwo actually in the simulation against Kyogre is because it really opens the gap, gets that clear head total damage output using Thundershock multiple times, and then using Thunderbolt, as opposed to Mewtwo using those Psycho Cuts, building up, and then trying to catch up on damage with those Thunderbolts, trying to close the gap. What's... So, everyone's like, Fitz, so what are you saying? What are you telling me? Tell me, what is it? What should I do? Power up a Mewtwo with Thunderbolt. The numbers don't lie. Zapdos is good in a lot of situations, and so is Mewtwo. So the numbers are this close. Power up a Mewtwo with Thunderbolt. Have Raikou, Zapdos, and Mewtwo on your electric teams to deal the total most amount of damage. Especially a lot of you dedicated players that, like me, that only like to power up really high IV Pokemon. I don't have a bunch of high IV Raikou and Zapdos just sitting around to be able to fill up an entire team. So I'm going to have a Mewtwo, Raikou, and Zapdos, a mixture of the three, in my 6 slots on my raid teams. So these are the calculations I did. I actually had to adjust the numbers this morning, but those are calculations. Psycho Cut again was used because of high EPS. So basically, with Ice Beam, Mewtwo is the best ice attacker in the game right now, and will likely stay until Mamoswine becomes available. That's going to be situational, like I explained previously. Thunderbolt, Mewtwo is second best electric type, in line with Zapdos, but with less type weaknesses. That's actually not true. Zapdos has 2 weaknesses. Mewtwo has 3, but then again, I mean, there isn't really any bug raids that we really do anyway, is there? Scyther for the most part. But Yeah, in line with Zapdos is the best. Absolutely. Mewtwo and Zapdos go hand in hand. Let's put it that way. So, as it stands, Mewtwo is the best ice attacker in the game, period. As a fire attacker, it just doesn't stack up. Moltres are two beastly Pokemon, so leave the job up to them. You could have one fire flamethrower Mewtwo just in case. A good example is a Venusaur raid or a Pokemon that is weak to Psychic and Fire. So a Psycho Cut, Fire Mewtwo will deal more damage than Entei, than Moltres during a Venusaur raid, for example. So there's an example. Mewtwo comes in second as best electric attacker. So there you have it. You can see some simulations online saying that Mewtwo isn't as good as Zapdos. That's situational. Mewtwo will always win the ice fight though, and then it's decent as a fire. So if I would place what you should set your priorities on, definitely power up a Mewtwo with Ice Beam. And then after you're done with that, if you have the allotted resources, definitely power up a Mewtwo with Thunderbolt. And then if you want to, it's not a bad idea, power up a Mewtwo with Flamethrower. And kind of put icing on the cake, Mega Mewtwo will be the best anything for the most part. Think about that for a second. Think about that. You might be getting Mega Evolutions once Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu come out for Gen 1 exclusively. So you never know. You never know. Have a Mewtwo of each. Doesn't hurt. That's it, the boy Fitz City. I'm signing off. I'll see you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.